reaction from the shirt makes me really angry.
Wow. Man, it's a good thing we've got technical people, because I never would have thought of that. Whoa!
Surprise!
See, it actually surprised me, because like 20 seconds ago, they were like, Keith, you have to button your shirt because it's making you look pink. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know t-shirts had that power, but apparently they do. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to Keith Explains. It's a bit of an unusual show because I've talked about John, my ordinary floor director, before. And I'm not going to call him my floor director because I don't own him in any legal sense. He's just the guy that's the floor director most of the time. Before the show, he comes out with this clipboard, and then he reads off the clipboard to the assembled throngs, which I call the audience, because they're the audience, and he berates them. He berates my audience regularly, and explains. They've all heard the spiel before, but he says it every time because it makes him happy. But he's in Canada for some godforsaken reason, I think involving family or travel or something. Then since he's not here, I have a stand-in floor director, and the stand-in floor director was forced to just say the ordinary things you would say, like, please don't throw heavy things at Keith, because it hurts, and he has to duck, and that makes the camera people have to quickly swivel, and they don't like that. And please do not sue Keith after the show for wasting half an hour of your life. That kind of thing. So we got those pleasantries out of the way, and then apparently I was pink on television for no good reason whatsoever, and here we are. I have a very short list of things to talk about tonight because I've been busy lately, and so I didn't have a lot of time to make up the long... Ordinarily, as you know, there are hours and hours and hours of research and focus groups and stuff where we run ideas through, we bounce them off each other. I have a team in Southern California that I Skype with. Ordinarily, they spend 4 days of work working on Conan, and then the other 2 days a week they Skype with me and we talk about topics and costumes and various things. And in the end, it's always just me sitting in the chair making crap up. So I don't even know why I pay them. No, I've been busy lately. So they're making me move offices at work. I've had a bunch of offices at Apple over the years, but I've been in my current office like 4 years. And I think I was in the office before that for like 2 years, and the one before that for 2 years. I don't move that often, and I think part of the reason is I put a lot of stuff in my office. It's part of my strategy, which is Apple's doing well right now, but it hasn't always been doing well. I was there when it was beleaguered, and so I think subconsciously I developed a bunch of skills that kept me employed. And one of those skills was when your boss is walking down the hallway and he's just gotten an email from his boss that says, you've got to lay off 2 people, he's mentally putting plus and minus marks in everyone's column. And when he gets to my office, I want him to look in my office and go, God, if I lay Keith off, I'm going to have to clean that. I don't have 2 days to clean things. So, oh, look, Susan over there's office is really nice and Spartan. I bet I could lay Susan off, and it would take me 15 minutes to clean it. Keith's office would take me 2 days to clean it. And then we would never see Susan again. If I'd ever worked with anyone named Susan, which I never have. So it's not a true story. It's just, it's a story of his story. So I keep a lot of stuff in my office because I kind of live there. And I'm kind of a pack rat, as I've mentioned in the past. So like in my office, I had a Mac 512 because who doesn't want one in your office? They were throwing it away. And I was like, can I have it? And they're like, you want it? And I'm like, yeah, it's a Mac 512. Of course I want it. Like, do you want the keyboard? I'm like, of course I want the keyboard. Good, some Mac 512 without a keyboard. Well, you can make an aquarium out of it. You don't need a keyboard for an aquarium. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the Mac 512 to my house. I'm going to put it in my attic, in my shrine. My shrine of stuff in my attic. And like most shrines, eventually when I die, when the prophet passes away, someone's going to have to come in and throw all the crap in my attic away. Because they're not going to have any... They're going to be like, what's this floppy for? And if I were alive, I'd go, that flopper's got Shoplifter on it. It's the best game ever. If you're in 1984. And then they'd be like, really? Anyway, so I spent much of the last week, packing my office. Not much of the last week. I actually spent a lot of time sitting in my office not packing because I really didn't want to pack my office. And so I just fixed a bunch of bugs. It'd be like, is there anything I can do that doesn't involve packing? Ooh, look, I could change that. Typey. But eventually I got tired of people coming by and looking in the door and going, we're moving, don't you? And I'd be like, I heard that rumor. And then they'd be like, shouldn't you start packing? And then here's what I would tell people. And I think they started to believe it. I was like, I'm waiting. Because the people who are going to move in here, they're going to come through for a tour one of these days. Because they're going to want to see what their new offices are going to look like. So when I see a bunch of strange people wandering down the hallway, I'm going to stop them and ask what they do. And then I'm going to call their manager, and I'm going to explain that I can do that. Okay? Then everyone else will move out. All these new people will move in, and I'll just be the new guy on the team. I'll be like, oh yeah, I could definitely design antennas. I think I'd be great at designing antennas. Why, with the dipoles and the electromagnetic fields and I don't know what's in an antenna. I mean, I'm hoping that the new group doesn't design antennas because I think there's going to be, well, again, I'd be near the bottom of the list, in terms of who's got to go. So luckily I had the dirty office in that case. But eventually I succumbed, and I was like, well, no one came through the hallways to look, so I guess I'm going to have to pack. So I started making boxes and putting all the things in my boxes. And I discovered as a pack rat, I have a lot of really old crap in my... Like, I'm going through my bottom file cabinet drawer. Now, none of you kids at home, file cabinets were drawers into which you would put paper that you wanted to keep. And paper, for you kids at home, is thin pieces of tree onto which you can write things. It's like email, but it's thin, and you would have to put a stamp on it if you wanted it to go anywhere. So I had this file cabinet in my bottom drawer that I don't think I've opened in several years. And I think that because there's been this other crap on my floor so that you couldn't actually get the bottom drawer open. And that stuff hasn't moved in a while because when I did move it, I then blew the dust off it. So it's been there, just like a pile of books, okay? So then I thought, well, if I'm moving, I should look through this file cabinet and see, is there anything in here I can throw away? And truthfully, I could have thrown the whole thing away. But I can't do that. So I'm thumbing through my file cabinet. I'm like, oh, look, it's my first pay stub. I can't possibly throw that away. What if I ever wonder how much I was paid the first 2 weeks I was at Apple? What if I want to frame it on the wall with a little frame? Look, my first. So that got put in the save box. I did throw away the file folder that had all the bills from the pager I had in 1993. Apparently, at one point in time, I thought, I ought to save these.
What's that?
In case and kids at home, a pager is like a cell phone. Except it doesn't actually make or receive calls. It just, it's like if you had a phone that only got caller ID. Okay? So like your phone would ring and it would say, Bob is calling you, but you couldn't make a call on your phone. You would have to find someone else's phone to call Bob back. Pager. They were the height of technology in like 1992 when it was cool to have them. And then by like 95, they were never cool. But I had one for a while, so there we go. And I had the bills for them. And I was like, I don't think I need these anymore. I don't know if I ever needed them, but I don't need them anymore. So those I threw away. I found this folder, which I had titled, Why I Need a Raise. I apparently would put things I did that were noteworthy in the folder. And the last such thing was in 1993. Now, that probably wasn't the last time I needed a raise, but I think that's the last time that I had something that indicated why I should be given a raise that was on paper. See, after that, it would have just all been an email or something. So I'm like thumbing through this 1993 list of why I need a raise, and I don't remember doing most of it. So apparently I either have a bad memory or I was freaky efficient in 1993. Or both, you never know. I came across a bunch of old crap. I'm like, Apple used to have this internal newspaper. And since it's Apple, other geeks at Apple used to have this fake internal newspaper. So I came across the April Fool's Day issue for the fake internal newspaper. And I'm like, that's freaking funny. That's hilarious. And then I realized I only think they're funny because I remember them. Like, if you just found this in the trash, you'd be like, this is a terrible internal newsletter. It doesn't really make any sense at all. And some of the stories seem kind of stupid. And it's irreverent. There's a picture of Woz on the cover. And he was introducing Apple's newest product. Eau de Apple. It was cologne. It was a picture of Woz with a bottle of cologne. I'm like, where did they get that from? And I'm like, well, someone just called Woz and said, Woz, we want to put out a fake internal newspaper. And he's like, I'm so on it. And then they'd be like, no, we just want to take a picture of you with a bottle of cologne. And he's like, date and time. Just tell me when. Should I leave my shirt kind of unbuttoned? And I'm like, yes, it's the 80s, of course. Your shirt should be unbuttoned halfway down so we can see your manly chest. Eau de Apple. We're coming out with it soon. And we've pretty much ruled every other market. So next we're moving into toiletries. Just wait. You aren't going to believe what we can do to a Mr. bottle. It's going to be fabulous. So anyway, that's moving offices. I did eventually get everything into boxes. And then they're like, you have to label the boxes. I'm like, okay. So I wrote like my new office number in my building, and I signed them all so that they're now technically keepsakes or souvenirs of some form. And then I thought, well, I should count the boxes. I'm like, no, why? Because they're like, well, you should know how many boxes you want moved. And I'm like, all that means is if you lose them, I'll know it. Whereas history has demonstrated if I move and you lose things, I never know. I mean, if I keep track of how many boxes I expect to get, all that can lead to is disappointment or nothing, right? There's no upside to me numbering the boxes other than I'd be able to go, I'm missing box 17. And yes, I had at least 17 boxes. I have a lot of stuff. I had a lot of stuff is the sad thing. What else? Oh, I came across my signed John Scully business card from 1989. I started at Apple in 1989. In 1989, in order to get all of us new employees orientated, they had little things the new employees did. They were like, we should have team building exercises, and you should go off and explore the campus, and we're going to have a scavenger hunt, and we'll give you clues, and you'll have to go to buildings. And I have this vague recollection, one of the clues being, go to this building and ask for a business card from this person. And it was like Scully's AA. And we got there and we're like, it's John Scully's office. And we're all like tiny because we're 7. And I, at the time, being a new college graduate, of course, feared for my life around my CEO, which I would never do today. No, never, not at all today. But we went into the office and we asked, we're here in the scavenger hunt for business cards. And you could tell that they had done this before because she was just like, oh, yeah, whatever. Here are the business cards. And then John Scully was in his office. So he pokes his little head out and he's like, oh, hi. And then we're like, ah! And then he's like, come on in here. Let me give you some cards. And then we went into his office and he opened a drawer and he gave us a card which said chief listener. Because he's like, I'm the chief listener at this company. I'm not chairman and CEO. I'm the chief listener. And we just signed the card. And he signed the back of the card and we took it off. And then we realized that the cards his AA had given us, of course, said chairman and CEO. Because, he had 2 sets of business cards. There were only 2 occasions I really had any form of personal relationship with John Scully at all. That was That was the first one. Oh, three. There were three, really. That was the first one. The second one is Apple has a fitness center. And I was young and thought I should be in shape, so I signed up for the fitness center. And I would go to the fitness center in the morning, and I would take a fitness class. And then I would shower, and I would go to work. And I'm standing in the fitness center. I've just gotten out of my class. I'm showering. I'm washing my hair, soaping up. Don't imagine too much. I was pasty and unattractive even back then. But I opened my eyes and realized the guy standing at the shower across from me was the CEO. That's not what you want to see in the shower across from you. It's not a good sight. It's not a good image. It's not a... You don't know what to do when you're 22 or whatever old I was. So internally, of course, I panicked. And externally, I think I left the shower without properly rinsing. So there you go. And then the third time I was in this meeting with him, and he didn't know my name, so I was glad he hadn't had that same horror from the shower experience that I had. Like, oh, I was being CEO, and I opened my eyes in the shower, and there's this 22-year-old idiot across from me showering. I'm like, how dare you? I'm scarred for life. I don't think that's what happened. Next topic. I often know when I'm involved with something that it's peaked and moved past the peak. Like as with everything in the world, there are times when things are getting cooler, and there are times when things used to be cool and now they're past cool. And I generally figure that out almost immediately after it stops being cool. That's when I get interested in it. And I'm like the harbinger of uncoolness of things. And I mention this because it's happened with a lot of things lately. Like 3 or 4 years ago, pirates were cool. Like everyone loved pirates. They're like, "Arr, I'm a pirate, I'm cool." And then I'm like, I'm going to be cool, so I'll get a pirate costume for Ren Fair. And then pirates weren't cool anymore. And I bought pirateaccountants.com, and pirates weren't cool anymore. I just want to let all of you know at home, that same thing has happened with zombies, okay? Zombies used to be cool. I have now done something zombie, and so it must be that zombie stuff used to be cool, and now it's on the decline. Now it's on the used to be cool, now only the 40-year-old engineers are trying to do it. And in particular, there's this thing in downtown San Jose that apparently I've done like 2 or 3 times now, Zombie-orama. It's a bunch of zombies show up and crawl around downtown San Jose drinking, which is, it's just wrong. And first of all, zombies don't crawl, they shamble. And second of all, they don't drink, they eat brains. Everyone knows this. If you see a zombie drinking, that zombie is ill. Like drinking booze is the last thing a zombie would do, because I don't even know why. I mean, it's not like it's going to slow the zombie's system down. It's not like it's going to make him shamble less efficiently. Zombies only need human brains, as we know. Anyway, so we went to this Zombie-orama thing. We walked around. I had a nice ice cream cone. Zombies don't eat ice cream cones either, but I had a delicious one with sprinkles. Zombies, not cool anymore. Sorry to mention this to everyone. Similar topic. Not a similar topic. A related topic. Every Labor Day, and I say every Labor Day, but it's really only the last 2, we get invited to this party thrown by some, friends of friends. They live up in the hills. They are, I assume, fabulously wealthy. Cool beyond belief. They know many, many fabulous, interesting people, and they know me. And I get invited to this party, not because I'm Keith Statenfield, TV celebrity, but because I'm Keith Statenfield, boyfriend of the girl and her sister that eat fire. Which is, we get invited because, and then Loretta and Maureen were like, oh, we're going to go to this party. We want to learn to eat, we're going to eat fire at the party. And I'm like, that'll be cool. And then they're like, well, we got to learn to spit fire, so we'll be even better at the party. And I'm like, yes, that will be even better at the party. And then suddenly it's unusual and weird for me to not be the famous person in any particular invite. Like, normally, again, it's Keith Statenfield, comma, media celebrity. And I'm constantly fending off the fans. I'm like, please, no autographs. And they're like, no, just move your car. You're blocking the driveway. I get that a lot. Anyway, whatever, right? So we go to this party, and Loretta and Maureen, they spit fire, they eat fire. You don't really eat fire. You just put it in your mouth, and then you put the fire out. If you actually ate the fire, it would be painful. I'm told. I didn't take the class. But even I know that, right? I could figure that out from first principles. We went to this party, and they did that. Ain't that cool? Now, I mentioned that topic so I can get on a different topic. It's the topic of other people's puppies. I know a lot of my audience has dogs because only people that have dogs would have enough time to watch this kind of crap on TV instead of going out. I have a friend. I have an acquaintance. I have a former person that used to make coffee in the morning for me, who now has a puppy. And I say puppy, but she apparently has the best puppy in the world, as she has mentioned on many occasions. It's the cutest puppy in the world, and it is the most well-behaved puppy. For example, this puppy only pees occasionally in the house. My house in particular. She only occasionally does this puppy pee in the house, which is something ordinary puppies must not do, because this is the best puppy in the world. So other puppies must be. I'm assuming if you just go out and got an ordinary puppy, that puppy would be peeing all day long in your house, just constantly, just Other people's puppies, for example, would not run across the room and leap up onto your dinner plate. Like, you could be sitting on your couch eating dinner, and then suddenly there'd be a dog laying across your dinner plate. Entirely across your dinner plate. It's amazing. It's like a flying dog. It's like a little black blur, and then poof, look, dog stew or something. People that have puppies think their puppy is the best in the world. It's like children. I was at a different meeting lately, and someone was like, you want to see a picture of the cutest grandchild in the world? And I'm like, I would love to see that. How do you have a copy of a picture of my nephew, who my mother has told me on many times is the cutest grandchild in the world? And she's like, no, this is my grandchild. And I'm like, can't be. How could the single child have, more than one grandmother from the maternal side? And she's like, no, that's my son's daughter. And I'm like, can't be. My mother assures me that my nephews are, in fact, the cutest grandchildren in the world. Each of them is somehow individually the cutest in the world. But together, they're also both the cutest in the world, is what I'm told. And she's like, you're not getting this, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm purposely annoying you by implying that your grandchild is not the cutest one in the world. But she's like, but they are. And I'm like, no, they're not. You ever had your grandchild just laying across the plate when you're eating dinner? That's the kind of thing I have. I mentioned Loretta earlier, so I'm going to mention her again. As you know, on the TV show I wear contacts, because when I wear glasses, they reflect the light, and people hate that because it looks crappy on camera. And then people say to me, well, why don't you go get your eyes lasered? You go to that LASIK thing, and then you could be like, laser, zoom, zoom, poof, no more glasses. And I'm like, I'm not letting people near my eyes with a laser. I've watched too many science fiction movies. Lasers are never good, right? Laser, bad. So, like, a week ago, there's this Groupon that goes by, and it's like, laser treatments for hair. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, you should buy one. And I'm like, why? She's like, you can have them take care of your unibrow. Okay. Now, I never have a unibrow on TV because Loretta makes me shave it every single month. Like, there could be like one hair in the middle of my nose, and she'll be like, you got to go shave that, okay? So now she is making me go get this lasered, okay? And this is perilously close to the eyes, okay? Perilously close, okay? It's almost like cut rate LASIK, right? It's like if there's anything wrong, anything goes zap, anything goes wrong, that's all I'm saying. If I come back and I only have one contact in, you'll know what happened, and you'll know who to blame. Anyway, I reached the end of the piece of paper, which is good because I've been bringing these for months. This is the last minute. What do you do if you run out of topics, Keith? And I always just say I'll talk about origami. But then we talked about origami in that one famous Lost episode, The Lost Keith Explains, where Keith talked for the whole half hour about origami. But sorry, it's lost. No one will see it. So you'll never hear about origami. So I have the fact or crap cards, which contain questions on them. Now I'm shuffling the fact or crap cards. Now I haven't looked at these before, except for the bottom one. But I've shuffled, so it's not the bottom one anymore. So I'm going to pick one, and then I'm going to explain it. Okay, here we go. Fact or crap. Okay, look, I'm holding my fingers over the answers, so you can tell the first rock video ever shown on MTV was Money for Nothing, Dire Straits. No, that's not true. It was, I want my, No.
Radio Star.
Radio Star. Radio killed the Radio Star. See? That's crap. That's crap. See? That's correct. 57 seconds. Look, I got two more. The climbing perch fish. The climbing perch fish is so called due to its ability to climb trees. That seems very reasonable, right? Climbing perch fish, trees. It says crap. It says crap. It's probably not true. It's probably a typo. Who cares? Climbing perch fish. The band The Red Hot Chili Peppers was originally known as Tony Flo and the Miraculous Majestic Masters of Mayhem. True. Gordon says true. Gordon says true. And I'm just amazed that Gordon knows that. But yes, it's true. It says fact. It says fact. So, see, that's fact or crap card number one. We can never look at that one again. Fact or crap dare. This is actually fact or crap or dare. And I guess if I get one wrong, I'm supposed to take clothes off. But Timbuktu is a mythical city? No, it's a true city. It's a real city. It's in Africa. It's over there in that part over there. Fish scales have been a key ingredient in lipstick. Yes, that's true. It is impossible to cultivate a green rose. Nothing's impossible. We got freaking DNA. I mean, I'm surprised that Monsanto doesn't sell it. I know it's time to wrap up. I'm doing credits. I'm whatever. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time, which will be about a year from now. Based on how quickly this crap is edited. What's here? The term for a group of judges is a truth. Anyone know? Crap. Panels. Newborn pandas have a full set of teeth. Of course they do. 20,000 Harley Davidsons were used in World War I. That's true. Harley Davidson from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I learned a lot of Harley Davidson from